What is something the United States of America does better than any other country? I've heard from others our air conditioning is top-notch. National parks. The 30-year fixed-rate mortgage. I was born in Europe and moved to the USA as a young teen. The US gets assimilation really well. Like you become part of some group fairly quickly and there are many to pick from. In Europe we had 2 boys in school, one from the US and one from India. Those kids got picked on for years and years. They never ever were going to be considered to be one of us. And never will. The US has this thing where if you play a sport and win as a team, or get through something difficult together like a math competition or a science lab, or play in a band that sounded good, suddenly you are one of everyone else. I had never experienced that before. It felt good. Build aircraft carriers. We have the most Olympic medals. So, Olympicing. Disability protections and accommodations. The ADA is the world's golden standard and it's not even remotely close. Hollywood movies. American blockbuster movies are popular all around the world. No other countries produces movies of the same degree of spectacle and quality. Cybersecurity. I just recently learned that the United States of America is the top gold standard in all things cybersecurity. I was actually a little surprised. Entertainment. Americans love to be entertained. We spend more money on entertainment than anybody anywhere. That's all kinds of entertainment from movies, music, concerts, amusement parks, and even smaller forms of entertainment like movie theaters, bars and nightclubs, bowling alleys, laser tag, and even food videos. Complimentary water with every meal. Cultural imperialism / soft power. Heard a quote once, I love it. China has kung fu. China has pandas. China is unable to create Kung Fu Panda. Apparently the US produces the most crude oil. https://www.eia.gov/todayinEnergy/detail.php, ID equals 61545, https://www.eia.gov/todayinEnergy/detail.php ? ID equals ~61545. Cultural assimilation. Pretty much anything you can think of from anywhere in the world, we've got it here, somewhere. Mexican, Japanese, Chinese, Nigerian, Korean, French, etc. If you like the food, music, literature, religion, whatever, you can find it here. Soft power. No country does it as well as the US. Despite its many shortcomings, people are drawn to the US. Films, TV, music, food, it's got such a magnetic pull. The system of national parks. Scrolled a bit and surprised nobody said it, but the ADA and building codes to accommodate disabilities is genuinely pretty great. A lot to improve on still, but it's actually world class and even Western Europe doesn't come close to us in that regard. Movies and entertainment. Yes, this is a serious answer. Pretty much all my favorite films are American. I'm an American living in Canada. I can tell you with no uncertainty that Americans are just better at hamburgers. I hate the stereotype, but it's true. Even the places here that are allowed to cook their meat to temperature, Canada has strict rules about meat handling, so most places just cook them all well done, don't really understand all of the other stuff that's supposed to go on a good burger. Whole wheat bun with kale is just fucking gross and I've seen it more than a few times. America just has the right mixture of ignorance of consequences, indulgence, culture, and availability of ingredients that hamburgers are just better. Logistics. Holy fucking shit, do we do logistics well? Name your item, your point A and point B somewhere on Earth, and the United States could get it done in a day if it was so inclined. When it comes to logistics, The US military alone is the single greatest organization that has ever existed in human history. Our civilian world isn't far behind. Our freight rail is as good as our passenger rail is bad. Use the last of the coffee this morning? Amazon will have a fresh batch at your doorstep before you get back from work. Second chances. A lot of our most successful people bounced back from failure. In East Asia, business failures typically don't get second chances, so you can't really learn from failure. You either have to start off with all the wisdom that others learned from having tried and failed, or you have to be really lucky. This sort of culture around business makes entrepreneurs risk-averse compared to the US, so the US is also better for risk-taking in new business concepts and models in a way that many other cultures are not. Startups. It is so difficult to build a startup-style company in many other countries. In the US it is surprisingly easy to start a company. First off, the way the US government supports startups is so much better than other countries. There are various federal and state programs offering grants, loans, and tax incentives specifically designed for small businesses and startups. But really it is that the regulatory environment is so much more flexible and less bureaucratic, which makes it easier to start and scale a business. Due to our culture and government, we also have a ton of venture capital, with places like Silicon Valley being major hubs for investors looking to fund new ideas. There's also a huge pool of skilled workers, especially in tech and business, thanks to top universities and research institutions. Something else that is undervalued is the culture here strongly emphasizes entrepreneurship and innovation. Taking risks is encouraged, and failure is often seen as just a step on the way to success. That is not something you'll see in most other countries. On top of all this, the US is a massive and wealthy market, giving startups a big customer base right from the start. There are also tons of accelerators, incubators, and mentorship programs available to help startups grow. Advanced tech and physical infrastructure make it easier for startups to operate and scale quickly. The US just fucks when it comes to startups. Experimenting with food. With America being such a mixing pot of cultures and backgrounds, a lot of people bring a lot of unique and interesting foods to this country, and then we take those already interesting foods and combine them with foods and traditions from other cultures and backgrounds to create all new interesting foods. In my travels, it's really been unique to find one country with such a variety of food. Within just even my local city, I can eat food from nearly all over the world from various shops, both small locally owned shops and large chains alike. Even food from obscure countries you've probably never even heard of, all accessible within a 10-minute drive of Maine, and I don't even live near a huge city or anything, just a quiet little suburban area. In the larger cities you could eat something new almost every day for the rest of your life and still not try everything that city has to offer. The US is unmatched by anyone in the world in two things. 1. Landing people on the moon and returning them safely to the Earth. 2. Putting cheese-like products in spray cans. I would say ACLOL. Ironically, accepting other cultures, races, etc. The loud 0.01% is all you hear, unfortunately. Thanks to one of our more badass presidents, Teddy Roosevelt, our national park system is the gift that keeps on giving. 7.2k upvotes, this is amazing. Thank you everyone. It is so refreshing to see the positive feedback in this feed overwhelm the negative feedback about what's happening in America. I haven't been this proud of where I live in a while because of all the negative shit that fills most of the space, but then I see feeds like this that show how fucking awesome it is to be living here in America during this day and time. Truly grateful. I'm proud to be an American. As a European, my answer to this is stand-up comedy. Male, female, white, black, whatever you mention, America has just the most incredible people in the world of stand-up. I feel it genuinely is America's true art form. It's the best part of U.S. culture for me. National parks. I'm Canadian, where we have some great national parks, but I'm truly marveled at how the states run theirs. Police the world's oceans so global trade can occur, benefiting every country that wishes to participate. I'm Switzerland. A lot of hostile, joke, and shitpost answers, so I'll give a serious answer. 1. Freedom of speech, and 2. Freedom of religion. 3. The crazy friendliness of Americans. It's something people take for granted. I honestly think people who disagree with freedom of speech, religion, and the culture are gravely naive and mistaken. We are honestly lucky America pioneered and arguably invented the internet and owns the majority of websites we use. Also, America is unprecedented with the sheer diversity of races and religions and cultures. It has not been done before in the history of the human species, and it's a beacon that it is possible we can all get along. For all your problems with violence, racism, discrimination, it is actually minute compared to other places in the world. Somehow giving a place for people to go to just work, live, and make a family with the American laws and dream, it just works. For better or worse. America is a constant, yet beautiful work in process. Love. Some guy in Jura Canton in Switzerland. #Happy Independence Day United States Eagle American football French fries hamburger hot dog. I have family in America, Connecticut, Florida, and Georgia, and I always love visiting. It's a real treat with the food. Georgians, Floridians, and South Carolinians are the most friendly people on the planet as far as I've met. Also, someone tell the Carolina Panthers football team to stop sucking so much shit for me. Produce scalable software that whole world uses. Turning our flag into articles of clothing. Armed forces. This sounds like a brag, but seriously, the entirety of the United States military is an exercise in fuck around and find out. When in doubt, research the Ohio-class nuclear submarine and realize there are more than 10 of those out there where nobody knows. We sell our culture. American culture is our chief export. Having drive-through everything. Ice in beverages. Handicap accessibility. Cheeseburgers. Sporting events. You ever been to an NFL game on Veterans Day? I went last November. Maybe it was the beer, or the F-18s, or both, but I sure felt like hollering in America. At the end of the anthem, the game hadn't even kicked off and I was fired up. What a great time that was. Edit. To clarify, I am not American. System of national parks.